The archaeological team from the Zephyrian Collective had expected to find ruins. What they discovered instead would shake the very foundations of galactic civilization. Dr. Kethlar adjusted her environmental suit as she descended into what had once been called the Mariana Trench. The water had long since boiled away, leaving behind a crystalline canyon that stretched 11 kilometers into Earth's crust. Her three-fingered hands trembled as she activated the deep scan sensors. Initial readings are impossible, she transmitted to the orbital research vessel. The geological formations aren't natural. Commander Vexhi's mandibles clicked with skepticism through the comm. Explain impossible, Doctor. The entire ocean floor appears to be a single, continuous structure. Metallic compounds we can't identify, arranged in geometric patterns that extend for thousands of kilometers. It's as if... She paused, her translator struggling with the concept. As if they turned their entire planet into a machine. 500,000 years had passed since the humans vanished. The galaxy had moved on, evolved, reached new heights of civilization. The great Zephyrian libraries contained extensive records of the extinct species, those primitive bipeds who had somehow conquered nearly a quarter of the galaxy before mysteriously disappearing overnight. Most scholars dismissed the human expansion as luck. A species that evolved on a death world, they said, naturally aggressive and adaptable. They'd stumbled onto faster-than-light travel and spread like a virus before burning out, as violent species inevitably did. Dr. Kethlar had believed that theory. Until now. Her scanner penetrated deeper into the structure, revealing layer upon layer of incomprehensible engineering. Fusion reactors the size of continents, quantum processors that made their most advanced AI systems look like counting stones, and something else. Conduits that seemed to connect every major landmass on the planet. Commander, I need the xenoarchaeology team down here immediately, and contact the Hegemon Council. What we're looking at, I think Earth wasn't their homeworld. I think it was their factory. 3 days later, the full research team had assembled on the surface. Dr. Yithmon, the collective's leading expert on extinct civilizations, stood beside a massive excavation site where Shanghai had once existed. The dig had revealed structures that defied every known principle of engineering. Look at this, he gestured with his forearms toward the exposed architecture. These aren't buildings. They're components. Massive interconnected components. The entire city was a single machine. And if our scans are accurate, every major human settlement was the same. Kethlar nodded grimly. We found similar patterns across 17 continents. North America appears to have been entirely converted into some kind of materials processing center. South America was dedicated to biological research. We're finding genetic laboratories that dwarf anything in current galactic civilization. Europe seems to have been their computational core. But what were they building? Asked Dr. Silthara, her species' natural paranoia making her voice shake. What could possibly require converting an entire world? The answer came from an unexpected source. Deep in what had once been the Amazon basin, they discovered the archives, a quantum storage system that had somehow survived the 500,000 years since humanity's disappearance. The data it contained would rewrite galactic history. Commander Vexhi materialized as a hologram in the makeshift research station, his expression grim. Dr. Kethlar, the Council is demanding answers. Half the galaxy is convinced you found some kind of superweapon. The other half thinks you're fabricating evidence. I need something concrete. Then prepare yourself for the impossible, Commander. Kethlar activated the archive projection. The air filled with a three-dimensional star map, showing the galaxy as it had been 500,000 years ago. This is how humans saw the galaxy when they first achieved interstellar travel, she explained. Now watch. The map shifted, showing the steady expansion of human territory. But it wasn't random expansion. It was strategic, calculated, following specific patterns that only became clear when viewed across millennia. They weren't just colonizing worlds, Commander. They were positioning them. Every human colony was placed at a specific gravitational nexus, each one exactly where it needed to be for... She paused, her voice barely a whisper. For a galaxy-spanning engineering project. The revelation struck the research team like a physical blow. The humans hadn't been conquerors. They had been architects. According to these files, Yithmon reported, his usually steady voice cracking, they were attempting to stabilize the galactic core. The black hole at the center of our galaxy was showing signs of instability that would have sterilized half the spiral arms within the next million years. Silthera's scales had turned pale. That's not possible. No species could engineer on that scale. The energy requirements alone would require converting entire star systems into power sources, Kethlar finished, which is exactly what they did. Look at this. The archive showed the final phase of the human project. One by one, stars in human territory had been surrounded by massive structures, Dyson spheres that harvested stellar energy on an unimaginable scale. The collected power was channeled through a network spanning thousands of light years, all focused on a single point at the galaxy's heart. The project was called the Galactic Stabilization Initiative, Kethlar read from the archives. It took them 300,000 years to complete. And according to these readings, she checked her calculations twice before continuing. It worked. The galactic core has been artificially stable for the past 500,000 years. Every world in this galaxy, including ours, exists because humans prevented a cosmic catastrophe. The silence in the research station was deafening. Finally, Commander Vexhai spoke. Where did they go? If they succeeded, why did they disappear? Kethlar accessed the final files in the archive. What she found there was a message, recorded by someone identified only as the last engineer. The holographic figure that appeared was clearly human, bipedal, bilateral symmetry, the distinctive features their species was known for, but this one looked tired, ancient, despite the primitive human lifespan. To whoever finds this record, the figure said, know that we did not abandon the galaxy. We became it. The stabilization network requires constant maintenance, constant adjustment. We have integrated ourselves into the system, becoming part of the machinery that keeps our galaxy alive. We exist now as digital consciousness, as quantum patterns woven into the fabric of space-time itself. The message paused, and the figure seemed to look directly at them across 500,000 years. We are still here. We are still watching. And when the next crisis threatens the galaxy, and it will, remember that humanity never boasted about what we could do. We simply did it. The hologram faded, leaving the research team in stunned silence. Around them, the dead Earth suddenly felt very much alive. In the depths of space, in the quantum foam between stars, in the gravitational fields that held the galaxy together, humanity continued its eternal vigil, no longer flesh and blood, but something far more enduring. They had not conquered the galaxy, they had become it.